Hello everyone, it's me Varus, and in this video I'll be giving you an update on the US forecast and especially on Tropical Storm Melissa, expected to become a hurricane. So I'll give you this video will mainly be focused on that and any US threat that the hurricane may pose. In the next video is very tricky forecast, and I'm here to break it down for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. Let's get right into it. So we'll start out with National Weather Service and alerts and indices, and just one major headline, or you could say two, is these blues, the cyan, all through here. Okay, in these areas, you got freeze watches in the indigo, or freeze warnings. You got frost advisories in the lighter blue, and then the cyan, you got freeze watches, which can turn into freeze warnings or frost advisories. And then to the south and east, including the whole state of North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, and northwestern South Carolina, you got some special weather statements mainly for fire advisories. It's really dry and windy in those areas. Besides that, relatively quiet. Let's get right into Tropical Storm Melissa, as it's a very complicated forecast, very interesting forecast as well. And let me just refresh this page, and yeah, we're gonna get a nice deep dive into Melissa. So compared to last video, Melissa's looking much more healthier. There is still shear, especially has been able to get the dry air out of there. There's shear, as you can still see the low level flow underneath all this convection, especially on this east or west and northwestern side. On the east, you got big time convection. I mean, beautiful convection bursts and convective tops all around center of the storm. Very healthy, good outflow as well, and downflow, or outflow in north and south. You just need this convection to spread a little more to the western side and kind of fight off this low level shear, as it has been pretty detrimental. I do expect that to lessen. It'll eventually strengthen as it heads west-northwest, and then eventually stalls further west, is what we're seeing with the trend, where it could undergo rapid intensification. Very something we have to watch as it gets south and well west of Jamaica. However, it's still going to pass close enough where we could get some impacts. Already islands feeling impacts, such as up here in the Dominican Republic with the outflow, and some outflow trying to reach Jamaica as well. And then since it's such a low rider, convection is already affecting portions of northern and South America. So let's talk about the tropics. Here's the latest 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time update. Moving west at 1 mile per hour. So this thing is a crawl, okay? Moving very slowly, almost stationary. 1,002 minimum pressure, 50 mile per hour max sustained winds. So again, moving just west. So it's actually supposed to be going north right now. It's still jogging just a bit west. Okay, we are seeing a slowing though, so it could mean something. It's going, again, a bit west. Further west it goes, worse for up here and even possibly downstream for the east coast. Again, I'll break that down. Either way, as it does turn north, or at least northwest, it will go that way through Saturday. But again, it's going to be crawling, and it's not going to move much at all. Even it moving west at 1 mile per hour right now does not mean much. Okay, you could say it's stationary, making that northern turn. But it has been constantly south and west of guidance lately, so that's something to keep an eye on. So it's going to go north and west, excuse me, through Saturday, and then make a turn back west, maybe even west-southwest, depending on how south that dip is. Could also have some implications. And the cone is very wide, okay, all the way almost to the southern tip of Cuba, all the way down into the armpit between Nicaragua and North-South America. So we're gonna have to watch. After this, it gets cloudy. Could it keep going west-southwest? Could it start turning out? Maybe it digs deeper southwest and gets further west. Again, we're gonna have to see where this goes. Again, sorry about that. Again, this cone is very circular, meaning there's a lot of uncertainty. Either way, you see those two ends, which means major hurricane, and National Hurricane Center also going very bold with its prediction and strength. In terms of alerts and indices, the whole island of Jamaica is under tropical storm watch, and then a hurricane watch for the southern portions of Haiti. This is because it'll still be a tropical storm as it gets closer to Jamaica, and then as it heads west, it should strengthen in west-southwest, so it might get a little further away. Depending on how strong it gets into a hurricane, this could get upgraded to hurricane warnings. And same over here down in Haiti. Reason that's up is because it could track closer and strengthen, or after it comes back, maybe it goes that way. Overall, it's some interesting stuff that the National Hurricane Center has out. Also, maybe because it's more easterly based, as it turns, convection could get into Haiti. So that's something we're gonna watch. So let's take a look at the multi-model and ensemble blend. Okay, blends EPSG, EFS plus CMC Canadian, the three main models I like to look at. There's also this credits to Tomerberg. He also has put out, I think, some sort of ensemble blend that kind of shows all the models in like the history of supercomputers, but or the ones that are active right now. But we'll just look at these three for now, as just to provide a still general picture. So pay attention to the black. I'd say that's the ensemble mean, and the blue circle is the ensemble ellipse, showing where the center could be at that time. So we can even just go 24 hours out. There's already uncertainty. It's kind of hard to see for sure, but the storm could be all the way over here or all the way down here. Okay, it could be above 15 north or at or below 15 north, which is something I'm watching the next 24 hours. Let's head out 48 hours. Okay, then we got uncertainty where this storm could be landfalling almost southern in Haiti, or it could still be at 15 north. That is again a major thing, and some ensemble members already bring it towards 20 north. That is a whole 6-7, no pun intended, latitude difference, which is something we're watching. Okay, we can go another 24 hours out to 72 hours, and there you have it, landfalling in southern Haiti, or still at or even below that 15 north. I mean, some outliers continue having it go in that west-southwest motion we saw in the National Hurricane Center's cone. So it's something I want to watch. Again, keep attention on keep an eye on the black line, because that's the ensemble mean. So something that has been interesting is through the next like 72 hours, we have this like little bump right here, and that is gonna have implications. If it ignores that bump and keeps going west-southwest, could be a more southerly track. If it does take that bump, could go further north. I don't know. It's something I've observed. Doesn't look too impactful yet, but again, we keep following that. So by about, what is this, 126 hours out, that's when we start seeing this turn with the ensemble mean around as it nears 80 west. So it's getting pretty west for sure. Okay, that's when we get that turn at 80 west. That's when it loops back. Now, you got some members into the Yucatan, into Honduras, those areas, okay? You got other ensembles that are zipping it out way out here, okay? Just look at that spread. This is a big spread, okay? This ensemble ellipse shows the reasonable spread through this area, okay? So it is very, and you have the clear outlier of the GFS jogging it east early. So we're going to keep watching this, okay? We'll just go full 198 hours out, and black line again is ensemble mean, okay? Some bring it further east, some, maybe even most, bring it a little bit more west, okay? And so we'll just take this fully out, and again, the black line is ensemble mean. Most get it away, maybe Bermuda has to watch out, but most get it away safely. Some get caught up in the upper level trough that I've been talking about. That's gonna come hollow weekend, and that could get caught up and yank the storm north. So it's something we're gonna have to watch. It's all of these ideas are plausible, okay? Even the European, you can see how that red line, you get some sort of tug, because if it wasn't getting a tug, it'd be zipping out like GFS and the other models, okay? Again, just follow the ensemble mean for now. I'd say once you get to like the Bahamas, after that it gets cloudy, okay? I mean, generally I do think it will head further out to sea, but then, I mean, especially near Bermuda, that's where it's like, will it get yanked back into the East Coast, or will it zip out to sea like some of the ensembles? Right now, only about 1%, less than 1% of models bring any landfalls along the East Coast. However, it has been taking more west and has been increasing in the last 24 to 48 hours, so something we have to keep watching. So let's talk about how the pattern could evolve. Okay, this is just the GFS. This is the outlier solution. So actually, we're going to go to the Euro, because again, outlier solution. So I feel like European is kind of the ensemble mean itself-ish along thing. So here, we'll just go to this. Look, this is 144 hours out. I'll zip back to the other model run. This right now is a positive tilted trough. This is what you would want to see if you want the storm to get kicked out, okay? This would bring the flow like this. And since it's positively tilted, you got ridge flow going like that. If Melissa's going fast enough at this moment, it could get squeezed through and out to sea, okay, which would be good. Now, if this was negatively tilted right here, if this was negatively tilted like this, then the flow would be going like that, okay? Then the ridge would also be going like that, and that would allow it to bleed further north and east. It's these subtle differences. So it depends. One question is, when will this trough go negative, okay? Because right now it looks positive. So, and as you can see, Melissa starts to kind of speed up, but either way, you can't call this a fish storm. Some people call this a fish storm. It's not a fish storm. It's impacting Jamaica, currently impacting Northern and South America, could impact Haiti, the Bahamas, and even Bermuda down the line if it heads out. So you could say it's an out-to-sea solution for the eastern U.S., but you can't say it's a fish storm. Now, and who knows if it's even out to sea. Now, Euro here, it gets interesting, okay? Here's the previous run. This is when it's still kind of positively tilted, almost gets neutral. It's a deepening trough. Now, I'll put it a couple more frames. This is kind of where it goes negative, okay? You have the slightest negative tilt here. Ridge building like this. Okay, you do have a weakness. It's very, very weak, though. And this trough, if it deepens enough and goes negative quickly, it has a flow going like this. So right now, Matilda, I keep calling this Matilda. Melissa is going through here. Say this trough was more like that. Or maybe even just like a little more like that. And it was a little more backed up. You could say like that. And this ridge bled out a little more towards here. That means the flow would be going like that. Along this trough would go like that. And it could impact portions of northern New England. So that's one kind of scenario that could be through there. So you see how the trough kind of absorbs Melissa. Now you do see it kind of get yanked back north and east. It kind of goes like north like this, and then you'll see it kind of get closer. It kind of gets absorbed again into the trough, so you won't really see it well, but it's right here. And at this point, the trough is neutral to slightly negative, and Melissa and the ridge is trying to build on top, but that could cause problems for Atlantic Canada, but stays generally long away from the east coast. Okay, now I will show you one solution. I will show you, or here, I will do the surface map of the Euro. Maybe you could show it a little better. So there's Melissa. So we'll do 12Z. And you can see it gets out and it gets flung in Atlantic Canada. There you have it, okay? It gets flung in Atlantic Canada, gets backed out. Okay, that's the solution we gotta watch. Let me show you the CMC, okay? I'll show you the GFS as well. Canadian, here, I'll show you upper 500 pattern as of right now, okay? 500 pattern at this time. So here, I'll compare it to the Euro as well. Here, you have this trough already neutral at this point. Okay, Melissa's a little faster, but if you already have this trough neutral and trying to tilt negative, you got the weakness out here. But this weakness, this trough to help yank it further out, is already out. Okay, it's booking it. Okay, and then you have this blocking up here in Greenland, or not in Greenland, but you got blocking. You got slight ridging from the Bermuda High here, slight blocking here. You could easily get a fusion between these two. And if we continue this, what this trough, but it's mainly the trough work, okay? You get this rotating mesovortice right here, okay? Or not mesovortice, just a rotating low around the broad trough, because this is a broad trough. That makes this negative. You got a trough here, okay? Flow goes like this, but this is Melissa right here. You got this flow going like that. You get this storm to get yanked into here. You have ridging up here to help aid it once it gets further north. Could it tug out? Sure, it definitely could. But this trough is going to be so broad and it could be really deep. Like the CMCS is getting really deep here, the Canadian. And that's why this Melissa is ultimately just sucked in by this trough, okay? And you can see how it's right to right here at this point, okay? Ridge going like this, trough going like this. It gets plowed into the New York City area, okay? While this trough is out and you got blocking up there. So that's a CMC. This is the Euro, okay? Okay, this is wrong time, but we'll kind of go to the time it was at.
Euro has ridging over here, but this trough is kind of late and isn't as deep, and that's what makes it get in Atlantic Canada. Overall, though, they're similar. GFS now, whole different look. GFS, you have little to no blocking up here. This trough is way almost off the coast, the center, and the axis. And what that does is Melissa, which is way out here, gets flung out to sea. I mean, it gets caught up with that trough that kind of starts to book it, and it heads out while this trough digs in. And even as this trough digs in, it's there and then it heads out as well. It's a very progressive pattern on the GFS. Okay, let me show you what both look like on surface on CMC and Euro. So Canadian, okay, I'm not doing this for clicks. I'm doing this to show. So see, Canadian, you already see it's one of those outliers that get really close to the Yucatan, maybe this being true. And you see how it gets flung into New York City, or that area at least, the Northeast, 8 a.m. October 31st. This is Halloween. It gets flung in. This would be insane. You got 540 lines getting into South Carolina, showing you how dynamic this storm is. Even if you, and I hope people understand, even if you don't get Melissa and that's out to sea, this trough is still going to bring some sort of low pressure. And you have it right here. And this could still bring coastal impacts and significant impacts, okay? Maybe even more, probably even more than the nor'easter we saw a couple weeks ago. Because that nor'easter barely even materialized, okay? That's the CMC. GFS, you can already see Melissa's way out. So how does the evolution look? At this point, Melissa's already out here. NHC, all the other models have it south and west of Jamaica, okay? So GFS is an outlier. But if the GFS was magically right, it's out to sea, and that October 31st storm kind of comes in late and mainly just brings shower weather because it all gets picked up by this trough that's fleeting through the eastern U.S. as we speak. So, there's something I want to talk about, though. Based on National Weather Service, Weather Prediction Center, since they're all the specialists and professionals, you have a moderate risk of heavy precipitation along the eastern seaboard and a slight risk surrounding that. And the moderate risk is in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. It includes very populated area. I mean, you got DC, Baltimore, Wilmington, Philadelphia, New York City, Trenton, Hartford, Providence, Boston. This is a very populated area, okay? And it's something you have to watch. This is because of Melissa. And if we get that deep trough and it's negatively tilted, you got Melissa over here, it could get yanked in, okay? And if you got, especially, even if it's a weak ridge, it could even aid in that as well as it gets north. So I'm just trying to show this, not to scare people, because again, this is a very low chance of actually happening. That plays out the way CMC showed and whatnot. But it's something just showing like that the National Weather Service and the professionals are also on alert and are still keeping a close eye, and definitely still a threat that we have to watch. So don't let go down on your guard yet. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll make sure to keep updating you guys on the storm as we see more data and get more confidence. As again, right now, very, very uncertain. If you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing to friends. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.